Okay, so I was going to show a video on how I clean this wrinkle paint. And as you can see over here, these two, that one shined up really well. This one I just finished. This thing was absolutely covered in grease. Same with the rest of the past. Man, I actually got it to clean up very well. It's not in perfect shape, but it's much better. I had to swap a stator in this one because somebody mangled the original trying to get the blade off. I just finished this one, but here's another 12-inch. I think it's a 49 model. So that will match. This one's the 51 or 50. But you can see wrinkle paint. These are always a pain in the ass to clean because of these little nooks and crevices. So this, I'll show. This is a part I just shot with hot rims and a toothbrush, and you can see how it cleaned up. Now it's not perfect. It's not really. I mean, it has some shine, but you're not going to get that without this. I used to polish them, but I found that the wax is just easier because really what you're doing is you're waxing the high parts and the low parts are just getting filled in with wax that you use a toothbrush to get out. So this stuff works, or just get the regular tornado wax. I just got this because it was on sale, but I use a shitty toothbrush, and I'll show you an example. Luckily there's no letters on the front, so I don't have to worry about pulling those off. Don't let this stuff sit too long. And it's not great that I'm doing this over my carpet, so I gotta spread it around so it doesn't hit the ground. You can see it's already working really well because it's turning brown. And I don't really do this more than a minute. Just not to risk it, because what it can do is can pull out the clear coat or some of the color and pigment. So I wipe it down. Usually what I'll do is I'll use a damp rag, because you're supposed to wash this stuff off, and if you don't want to disassemble the fan, then you can do this. So now it is wet, so it's not an accurate, but you can see how really nice that turned out. Now my next method is, once you do that, and also once you wipe this down with a damp rag and everything and dry it off, hit it with this stuff. I used to use Mother's aluminum polish to do it, but it's just a waste of time because you get the same shine with this, and Mother's was an extra step. I did it on that fan, but you can't really tell the difference, to be honest. This one looks more shiny, even though it's in the light. So here you go. Just work this in, and the next step will make a lot of sense because I've done this before without really working it in, and I let it dry and never cleaned it, and I was like, man, that looks awful. Well, my next step was, I know what I'm doing wrong. Let me grab, damn, I forgot. Use this. I usually hit it with this first, whatever, PB Blaster. I wouldn't use PB Blaster, that shit stinks. Use W40 or something, or get this cheap lock brand trap. It's all the same. And then, once this is wiped off, it's good enough. I work it in there to help loosen that wax. Now, you can wipe the wax off first and then do this, but I find that this helps get into the crevices, kind of work the wax around to do its job. I'd use a different one. Now, I'm not going to show you the next step because I don't want to get my carpet wet, but I wipe this off. And you can see, sorry for the shitty camera work. You can see it already looks amazing. Like, look at that, that looks like brand new. We're not done yet. What you're gonna do is you're gonna let this sit, because you have to let the wax dry out. So probably you would do the whole base first. Once you clean it really well, wipe it off, and that, I recommend putting cardboard down and do it to the pole on this too. The paint can be cleaned up with this stuff, but when it's got a smooth finish like this, you gotta be careful. I don't do it for more than 30 seconds, and if you're really skeptical, just test a part of the fan that you're not gonna see that often, like the back of the blade, and keep it under 30 seconds. Japan fans, honestly, you can put it on there for more than a minute. There's no point though, because it works really well, and you just work it in with the toothbrush, and then you wipe it off with a damp rag, and it'll usually keep the clear, but you're probably gonna have to go over it with polish again, like rubbing compound, and then wax, and usually it shines up. So you'll see a before and after of this fan. That's how I got the blades on that one to shine. They look honestly much worse than this. And this thing will take off paint splatter too. So once you let this dry, what you're gonna do is make a mix of Dawn dish soap and water. Doesn't really matter. I kind of put a lot of Dawn dish soap in, so it's more sudsy. And then you're gonna go over this, usually outside with the fan disassembled. That's what I would do. If you don't want it, you can just put towels in where the switch is and make sure there's no water that gets in. And usually what I'll do is I'll go around, just like what I was doing with the PB Blaster or whatever. Just work it around, and you'll start seeing all the white wax come out. And then you're gonna do it again. You're gonna wash it off, and then do that again for 3 times. I find 3 times will get most of that wax out. And then what you do is you dry it and put it in front of a fan, and it'll dry all that water out of the wrinkle finish. You'll be left with something like this. Now this paint is very rough, so the fact that this even shined up is pretty impressive, but that paint over there was already nice. You can't see the shine it has, so it's kind of hard to tell without the light, but it turned out pretty well. So that's my method. It works on the brown wrinkle finish. Emerson's also. Those, you kind of gotta be careful though, because they shot bronze over the wrinkle finish, kind of like what they did with this, but the wrinkle finish underneath is black. So you don't want to rub through, so make sure that you're not putting too much force. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed.